Good evening. My name is John, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Amazon and how this major market player came into existence, as well as some of the problems that we as a group have diagnosed and some of the solutions that we came up to try to solve these problems. So to start, Amazon was founded in 1994 by Jeff Bezos in Bellevue, Washington. Then in 1997, they entered the stock market with an initial share price of $1.96. That same year, they opened their second distribution facility in Newcastle, Delaware, and their stock rose to $4.42. Then in 1998, they expanded to selling music, offering CDs and DVDs at a stock price of $10.42. The next year, in 1999, they offered their patented one-click payment option, which once you click on an object, you pay for it automatically, and you don't have to go through all of the hassle of filling out all of your information as well as your credit card. It all saves it on the site, so that helped with their product turnover immensely. Then in 2003, or in 2002, apologize, they started selling clothing. At this, they offered everything from athletic wear to outdoor wear, offering 400 different apparel brands, and their stock rose to $19.12. Then 2003, they started a web hosting business, which little did they know that 15 years later they would become the largest web service provider in the world, and their stock was at $34.07. Then in 2002, they entered the market in China. They bought a company called Joyo for $75 million, which was the largest seller of online books and electronics in the Chinese market, which was later renamed Amazon China. After this, they got introduced to all of Europe. Then 2007, well, in 2005, I apologize, they started their Amazon Prime at $79 a year and it was a loyalty program that offered free 2-day shipping as well as a streaming platform such as Netflix. Then in 2007, they started selling the Kindle at $399. And this was the first product beside them, and Nook came out right around the same time that you could read books on this device without flipping through the pages and going through all that hassle. And their stock rose to $79.18. Then in 2008, they took their book company to a new level by buying an audiobook company called Audible. And they bought this company for $300 million with a share price of $77.60. Then in 2009, they came out with a Kindle 2, same sort of thing, but with a keypad that offered web services you get on the internet. Then in 2011, they came out with a Kindle Fire. In 2011, this was the colored version basically of the Kindle, and it offered all the same services such as being able to get on websites and access their Prime streaming platform. Then in 2012, they bought Kiva Systems for $775 million. They used this to amp up their automation process at the fulfillment centers, and they delivered the products faster. This enabled them to start doing 1-day shipping. Then in 2013, they started shipping on Sunday, and they talked about future shipping methods using drones and whatever else to deliver products to people at an even faster rate than 1-day shipping. This year, not mentioned on this timeline, Jeff Bezos inquired about buying the Washington Post for $250 million. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the offer was denied, and their stock price rose to $354. Then in 2014, they unveiled the first smartphone, which I'm sure you've never heard of. It's called the Fire Phone. The phone flopped and never really ended up hitting the markets. In 2015, they came out with the Amazon Echo, which basically enabled all of your Apple Siri functions through a pod sitting conveniently anywhere located in your living room. That year, they also bought Twitch for $970 million at a stock price of $466 a share. Then in 2017, they acquired Whole Foods. They bought 471 stores at a total price of $13.7 billion and integrated the two companies to basically offer a smart supermarket option. And their stock price at this time was $987.71. Later in 2018, they became the world's largest online retailer. The only retail store they're behind is Walmart now. In 2020, their stock price is just over $3,000. So, all of that being said, the first diagnosis that we came up with is customer needs over employee gratification. And I thought that this quote kind of encompassed their whole company as a whole. We aim to be Earth's most consumer-centric company. Our mission is to continually raise the bar of the customer experience by using the internet and technology to help customers find, discover, and buy anything, as well as our businesses and content creators to maximize their success. Employees interviewed said that they are told to completely forget their quote unquote poor habits that they had learned in previous jobs. They said that when they hit a wall after such an unrelenting pace, there's only one solution: is to climb the wall, get over it, and keep pushing yourself. This nearly excessive need to please the customer comes at the cost of the employees' personal lives. Employees will be working on projects and meetings well into the evenings, even getting emails and working on work up until midnight or after. All of this correlates to how the employees are treated while they're working. Employees are encouraged to tear one another's ideas apart at meetings just so you can find which idea is going to work the best in the long run, and try to figure out every sort of problem that you may be able to encounter along the way. And when you start at Amazon, there's even a feature that you could put into it's an internal directory. This allows you to let colleagues talk to other colleagues, bosses, and this is a way to hold each other accountable. But a lot of the times, employees will actually use this to sabotage other employees to gain more notoriety and more money within the company itself. And now we're going to go over to Aaron to talk about some of the working conditions.
Yeah. So another diagnosis the team discussed for Amazon as an issue was the working conditions. Tense situations occur often throughout the workplace due to managers focusing on the customers more than employees. Amazon claims it is a leader in compensation, in turning causing them to lose focus on the employees' health and well-being. Top-line managers lack empathy towards their employees because they are taught to maintain consistent focus on the customers and then work backwards from there. Amazon teaches their leaders to focus on customers' obsession, always being right, and delivering results. This being their main goals allows leaders to become closed-minded when working with other employees. Amazon is not building a positive culture. Instead, they want their employees to fight and sabotage others to move up in the company, as John previously said. Injury rates also play a role in working conditions. In 2019, Amazon recorded 14,000 serious injuries across its fulfillment centers, which equates to an injury rate of 7.7 serious injuries per 100 employees. Now Isaiah will discuss turnover rates.
So for turnover rates, Amazon has one of the highest turnover rates, especially among the warehouses, due to their working conditions, injuries, and business model stress. Some of the working conditions go along the lines of having to walk 15 miles per shift and being very uncomfortable with long hours during the day. Workers at Amazon warehouses have an alarming high injury rate, as well, as Aaron alluded to, especially with serious injuries. As a recent report done by dozens of organizations using Amazon's own records of injury and illness revealed that workers sustain serious injuries often. Due to the type of work that these employees are engaged in, such as moving heavy boxes and traveling all across their big warehouses, injuries occur due to the stress put on their bodies. This could be on one's shoulders, neck, back, wrist, knee, and so on, or a combination of the few. Along with Amazon's strict business model of pleasing the customer, employees suffer, which means with their business model, employees have to make sure that they're keeping up with their numbers and pace, no matter if they're injured or any of those certain uncertainties. If they don't keep up, they can be terminated, aka fired, for a lack of efficiency. Okay, next slide. So, for an example, one of the workers was interviewed, and this is the statement that he gave. He lost 30 pounds working at Amazon because he was on his feet so much, picking up items off shelves and putting them in bins, and also packing goods into boxes. His breaks were only 15 minutes, but it would take him 10 minutes to get to the break room. So, as a compromise, he decided to sit in the stairs, waiting for the work to begin again. He had worked in the Postal Service as a disc jockey and for the US Census, but working for Amazon was the most brutal and it took the biggest toll on his body. Now to solutions with Anthony.
All right, thank you. Yes, so talking about solutions here, Amazon, another issue that they deal with, or that we already talked about, is the hostile work environment. So the last thing Amazon wants to be known as the companies that don't treat their employees the right way. Um, so this is an issue that's pressing because the last thing Amazon wants to do is be known as that, and there are unfortunately many ways an environment can be hostile. So it's typically created through either fellow employees or manage. I'm sorry, I'm actually on the next slide. Can we switch that real quick? Sorry, my bad. So it's necessarily not an easy fix, but there are definitely plenty of ways to fix that issue. An effective way to go about this would be for management to have HR come in and assess the situation and see what they think. If that does not fix the issue, the employee or employees who are making it hostile can either be warned or can even be terminated. And this is a possibility that the physical working conditions, there is a possibility the physical working conditions, such as like the warehouse and what it's like, can even be dangerous. But from a big company like Amazon, I doubt that the actual warehouse itself is going to be dangerous. So if in that event, then upper management would need to come in and assess that accordingly. And then another big issue is the turnover rate. So this is basically what Aaron was talking about. So, and he was talking about how this employees coming and going a lot, and a lot of it's to do with the hours. So one way to fix that is to hire a lot new employees, which Amazon hired 248,000 new employees in 28 or this past year in Q3 to help with that. So that's going to help with employees numbers and having better hours. So upper management needs to basically work on the working demands and not go so hard on their employees and having their demands for their employee output, and they need to go easier on that. And then back to the previous slide. Amazon also needs to work on their customer or their employee satisfaction over their customer satisfaction, because that's something that they currently value customer satisfaction over that. So one way to work on this is through hiring or raising wages. Can we go back to the previous one? I'm sorry. It's to be raising wages. So in 2018, Amazon raised their minimum wage to $15 an hour, which was an important step for them to keep their employees satisfied and to keep their employees safe and feel safer. They also invested $4 billion in COVID safety protocols. So that's a good way to help especially in the current times of the pandemic, was help their employees feel better and know that they're safer in the working environment. And then, like I alluded to earlier, helping to hire more employees for bad hours. So, in conclusion, Amazon is an amazing, extremely successful company, and they are number 2 in the Fortune 500 rankings and reeled in $280 billion in revenue in 2019. The numbers, stats, and money jump off the page at you. Meanwhile, they do have some issues with their employees being dissatisfied, struggling with hostile work environments and high turnover rates, and valuing their currently customer satisfaction over employee satisfaction. As a customer myself, it's hard to believe as big of and successful as a company as Amazon would struggle with an issue like this, especially as an avid customer of Amazon who subscribes to Prime, has never had an issue. It's really shocking and unfortunate. But there are ways to fix them, as we talked about, and through research and recent news, it seems as though Amazon is doing their best to try and resolve these issues and keep everyone happy as they try to keep moving forward and keep growing. Thank you.
Sweet.